Step into the charming and hilarious world of Keeping Up Appearances, 1990 to 1995, the classic British sitcom that captured the hearts of audiences with its sharp wit and unforgettable characters. However, behind the laughter lies a bittersweet reality. Several beloved actors from the series have tragically passed away over the years. In this video, we take a heartfelt look at the lives, careers, and personal stories of the Keeping Up Appearances actors who are no longer with us. Join us as we honor their remarkable contributions to comedy and celebrate the legacy they left behind, keeping their memory alive for fans old and new alike. Geoffrey Hughes was born on February 2, 1944, and famously portrayed Onslow, Hyacinth Bucket's indolent, beer-loving brother-in-law, starting in 1990 at the age of 46. On screen, Onslow's unapologetic laziness and blue-collar bluntness served as a hilarious foil to Hyacinth's desperate social climbing, but behind the scenes, Hughes' life was far more complicated. Though beloved publicly, Hughes struggled with bouts of clinical depression, exacerbated by years of typecasting that confined him to lovable oaf roles, stifling his artistic ambitions. His personal life was marred by whispered marital tensions and estrangements from close family members, details rarely aired but known among insiders. Hughes was known to indulge in alcohol more than publicly admitted, causing friction on set and with colleagues, fueling rumors of difficult behavior despite his genial image. He also faced financial difficulties at times, contradicting his affable public persona. Hughes died on July 27, 2012, aged 68, from prostate cancer. Josephine Tusen, born February 26, 1931, played the anxious, tea-spilling Elizabeth Warden starting in 1990 at 59. Elizabeth's timid kindness contrasted starkly with Hyacinth's domineering nature, endearing her to audiences. Behind the scenes, Tusen's career was marked by steady work but also personal sorrow. Her brief marriage to Leonard Rossiter, a notable actor, ended quietly but left emotional scars. Industry whispers hinted at difficult relationships with some colleagues, revealing a more guarded and sometimes fragile personality than her screen persona suggested. Tusen battled increasing loneliness in later life, compounded by the early onset of Alzheimer's disease, which she concealed from the public for years. Despite her gentle public image, she faced private struggles with the disease's progression and isolation. She died on August 18, 2022, aged 91, from Alzheimer's, closing a chapter of grace overshadowed by silent suffering. Clive Swift, born February 9, 1936, embodied Richard Bucket, Hyacinth's long-suffering husband, beginning in 1990 at age 54. Richard's mild-mannered tolerance and subtle exasperation provided the grounding for Hyacinth's overbearing antics. Off-screen, Swift was a classically trained actor whose distinguished career often suffered under the weight of typecasting as Hyacinth's henpecked spouse. His frustration led to a prickly reputation in interviews, with several colleagues describing him as difficult and temperamental. Swift's personal life was turbulent, marked by a strained marriage plagued by rumors of infidelity and public disputes that hinted at deeper emotional turmoil. His relationships with his children were reportedly complicated, with some distancing themselves during his later years. Swift faced growing professional obscurity in his final decades, intensifying his isolation. He passed away on February 1, 2019, aged 82, after a short illness, leaving behind a legacy tinged with both respect and unresolved bitterness. Mary Miller, born July 26, 1936, took over the role of Rose, Hyacinth's flirtatious and tempestuous sister, in 1991 at 55. Rose's romantic escapades and dramatic flair added chaos to Hyacinth's world both on-screen and, some say, off-screen too. Miller's career boomed with prominent stage roles in The Phantom of the Opera and Beauty and the Beast, yet her personal life was rife with difficulties. She endured multiple failed relationships and battled private rumors of alcohol dependency that strained both friendships and professional ties. Miller also suffered from prolonged health problems, ultimately succumbing to ovarian cancer, which she fought privately for years. Colleagues recalled her as charismatic but occasionally volatile, someone whose passions sometimes tipped into emotional turbulence. Her death on November 10, 1998, aged 62, marked the tragic end of a life rich in talent but scarred by personal demons. Shirley Stealthox was born April 11, 1941, and originated the role of Rose in the first season of Keeping Up Appearances in 1990 at 49. Her bold and brassy portrayal of Rose was memorable, but her private life was far less straightforward. Married to fellow actor Don Henderson, she endured years of emotional strain during his prolonged illness before his death. This personal hardship took a toll on her health and career, with industry insiders noting periods of erratic and difficult behavior possibly linked to exhaustion and grief. Stealthox was reputed to have had several behind-the-scenes conflicts and was known for a sometimes prickly attitude, fueling rumors of on-set tensions. Despite a mostly private existence, the discovery of her battle with cancer after her death revealed a quiet resilience. She died on December 7, 2015, aged 74, leaving behind a legacy shaped by talent and endurance through adversity. Gretchen Franklin, born July 7, 1911, appeared as Daddy's fiancée in Keeping Up Appearances in 1990, aged 79. Her quirky, unpredictable character brought a humorous, chaotic energy that destabilized Hyacinth's rigid social order. Franklin's off-screen life contrasted sharply with her warm on-screen persona. Beneath her generosity lay a private history marked by tragedy and unresolved conflict. She endured the early death of her husband, which plunged her into years of depression and financial hardship. Family life was strained, her relationship with her daughter fractured after accusations of emotional neglect and secrecy regarding her romantic affairs. Franklin was also at the center of bitter disputes on the EastEnders set, where her outspoken nature clashed with colleagues, sparking rumors of backstage bullying. Despite her charitable work, her final years were shadowed by loneliness and declining health. She passed away on July 11, 2005, aged 94, mourned as much for her flawed humanity as for her talents. Charmian May was born on June 16, 1937, and played Counselor Mrs. Nugent in Keeping Up Appearances in 1990 at age 53. Her character was the embodiment of stiff British propriety, prim, polished, and a subtle reminder of the social circle Hyacinth desperately wanted to infiltrate. Despite her poised on-screen presence, May's career was far from smooth. She faced repeated professional frustrations, including being sidelined for major roles after industry rumors labeled her too difficult due to her uncompromising approach to her craft and outspoken personality. Privately, her life was marked by heartbreak. A turbulent marriage ended amid bitter allegations of infidelity, which May publicly denied but privately caused deep scars. Friends close to her revealed her hidden struggle with alcoholism, which intensified during the late 1990s and was a contributing factor to her cancer diagnosis. Despite this, she maintained a resilient professionalism until her passing on October 24, 2002, at age 65, leaving behind a complex legacy shadowed by both brilliance and personal turmoil. Gerald Sim, born June 4, 1925, portrayed the soft-spoken yet perpetually flustered vicar in Keeping Up Appearances in 1990 at the age of 65. His character often found himself the unwilling target of Hyacinth's social maneuverings, embodying a gentle moral center in the chaotic world. Off-camera, however, Sim's reputation was clouded by numerous controversies that shocked the genteel image of his roles. In the mid-1990s, he became notorious for public disputes with co-stars, particularly Patricia Routledge, with accusations ranging from undermining performances to outright bullying during rehearsals. His personal life was equally tumultuous. Long-standing rumors of multiple extramarital affairs surfaced, resulting in a highly publicized and acrimonious divorce that alienated him from his children for years. Despite a prolific career, Sim's later years were marked by isolation, bitterness, and estrangement from the acting community. He died quietly on December 11, 2014, aged 89, with the exact cause undisclosed, leaving behind a career tainted by scandal and personal regret. Jean Anderson, born December 12, 1907, portrayed the aloof and aristocratic Mrs. Fortescue in Keeping Up Appearances in 1991 at 84. Her character was the epitome of high society snobbery and a constant reminder to Hyacinth of the social heights she wished to attain. Behind this regal facade, Anderson's life was riddled with scandalous whispers and dark secrets. Throughout her long career, she was rumored to have engaged in clandestine affairs with powerful men in the theater world, some of which allegedly involved manipulation and blackmail, casting a shadow over her reputation. A devastating personal blow came with the death of her only son, which sent her into a reclusive and depressive spiral. On set, Anderson was infamous for her tyrannical attitude and refusal to tolerate dissent, often clashing violently with cast and crew, earning her a notorious reputation. She died on April 1, 2001, aged 93, leaving behind a legacy both admired and whispered about in the darker corners of British theatre. Jean Mockford, born March 15, 1926, took on the role of Mrs. East in Keeping Up Appearances in 1990 at age 64. Her character brought warmth and eccentricity to the series, yet Mockford's real life was marked by hardship and hidden turmoil. She endured a bitter divorce that became a public spectacle, leaving her with financial difficulties and a fractured social reputation. While beloved for her impeccable comedic timing, she struggled with depression and, according to some close acquaintances, battled a private addiction to prescription medications. Mockford was also known to have frequent clashes with producers and directors over creative control, sometimes resulting in tense working relationships and missed opportunities. Rumors circulated of volatile temper tantrums and a fractious personality that made collaboration difficult, especially in her later years. Jean Mockford died on November 16, 2018, aged 92, after suffering from dementia, her private life a stark contrast to the laughter she brought to audiences. Bernard Arshard, born August 20, 1916, appeared as a hotel guest in Keeping Up Appearances in 1991 at age 75. His brief role carried the quiet dignity that marked many of his performances, often cast as authoritative figures like military officers or clergymen, ironically, given his staunch pacifist beliefs. Behind this calm exterior, Arshard struggled with loneliness and bouts of depression, intensified by the constant tension between his personal convictions and the roles he accepted. Though publicly private, rumors circulated in theatrical circles about his heavy drinking, which occasionally led to confrontations on set and difficulties maintaining professional relationships. His long-term partnership with James Belchamber was a rare source of stability but also a source of tension due to Arshard's reclusive nature and occasional emotional volatility. Despite his artistic achievements, he was said to have battled feelings of isolation throughout his life. Bernard Arshard died on May 1, 2008, aged 91, of natural causes, closing a chapter on a life both respected and quietly troubled. Bruce Monagu, born March 24, 1939, portrayed his lordship in Keeping Up Appearances in 1995 at age 56. His role as an aloof aristocrat was a perfect match for Hyacinth's social climbing antics. Despite a seemingly steady and scandal-free career, Monagu's personal life was marked by a series of hidden upheavals. Married for over 6 decades, his marriage was reportedly far from perfect, plagued by affairs on both sides and simmering resentments that remained behind closed doors. Colleagues and insiders described Monagu as charming yet calculating, someone who could be ruthlessly manipulative to secure career advantages, including attempts to undermine rivals and control casting decisions. He was also known for occasional outbursts of anger on set, surprising those who knew his public image. Family sources later revealed estrangement from his children in his final years, pointing to unresolved conflicts. Monagu died on August 16, 2022, aged 83, leaving behind a career admired by many but a personal life shadowed by discord. Nigel Davenport, born May 23, 1928, took on the role of the Commodore in Keeping Up Appearances in 1993 at 65. His aristocratic and commanding presence reflected the dignified characters he often portrayed. However, his career was not without turbulence. Notably, he was controversially dismissed from 2001, A Space Odyssey after a single-line reading for sounding too English, a slight that left him embittered and fueled a lifelong wariness of Hollywood's demands. Davenport's personal life was equally stormy. His marriages, particularly the first, ended amid whispers of infidelity and volatile disputes. Industry insiders recalled his sharp temper and blunt communication style, which sometimes alienated directors and fellow actors. He was also rumored to have been involved in several behind-the-scenes power struggles and clashed with producers over creative control. Though largely maintaining a veneer of dignity, these pressures reportedly contributed to bouts of heavy drinking and health issues later in life. Nigel Davenport passed away on October 25, 2013, aged 85. Terrence Hardman, born April 6, 1937, played Eric in Keeping Up Appearances in 1993 at age 56. His character carried an air of authority and refinement, adding a subtle tension to the show's exploration of social climbing. While admired for his iconic role as the Demon Headmaster, Hardman's career often saw him pigeonholed into stern, unsmiling roles, leading to professional frustration. Off-camera, colleagues whispered about his sometimes cold and aloof demeanor, which contrasted sharply with his public image. Though married to actress Rowena Cooper for nearly 6 decades, sources reveal that Hardman privately battled feelings of isolation, intensified by his dedication to theater that left little room for social life. He was known to be a perfectionist, occasionally clashing with directors and co-stars over artistic choices. His quiet personal struggles were kept largely out of the spotlight until his passing on April 18, 2023, at 86, following a private illness, leaving a legacy of talent shadowed by solitude and the costs of typecasting. Trevor Banister, born August 14, 1934, played the salesman in Keeping Up Appearances in 1994 at 60. His slick, charismatic character echoed his best-known role as Mr. Lucas in Are You Being Served?, but Banister's real-life story was far less polished. Though a talented actor with a long career in British television and theatre, Banister's trajectory was marred by setbacks, including a highly publicised dispute with a major director in the late 1980s that saw him blacklisted by key industry figures. His personal life was riddled with instability, multiple marriages ended in bitter divorces, and rumors of affairs haunted his reputation. Banister struggled with a gambling addiction that drained his finances and led to strained friendships, a side of him rarely acknowledged publicly. Co-workers described him as both charming and temperamental, often difficult to work with due to mood swings and clashes over creative control. He died suddenly from a heart attack on April 14, 2011, at age 76, leaving behind a legacy of both talent and turbulent personal battles. Barry Gazny, born November 20, 1926, appeared as the yokel in Keeping Up Appearances in 1993 at 67. Known for his quirky, eccentric comedic style, Gazny's on-screen charm masked a life marked by volatility and personal demons. Despite a successful career in British comedy, including Time Gentlemen Please and collaborations with Harry Hill, his off-screen life was troubled by heavy drinking and episodes of anger that sometimes erupted on set. His marriage to Jacqueline Clarke was reportedly tumultuous, with long periods of estrangement fueled by his erratic behavior and infidelities that were quietly hushed up by the couple. Industry insiders noted that his professional reputation suffered as he grew increasingly unreliable, with missed rehearsals and confrontations becoming common in his later years. Despite this, he was fiercely protective of his privacy, and his decline was mostly kept away from public view. He died at 81 on January 24, 2008, after a fall, his final years marked by loneliness and regret. Una Stubs, born May 1, 1937, portrayed Mrs. Moody in Keeping Up Appearances in 1995 at age 58. Her character's blend of sweetness and subtle sarcasm reflected Stubbs's skill in balancing charm with depth. However, her off-screen life was far from serene. Twice married, Stubbs's second marriage ended amid rumors of emotional abuse and infidelity, though she maintained a dignified silence. She battled with depression throughout her life, especially during career lulls, leading to periods of withdrawal and isolation. Despite her beloved status in British television, colleagues occasionally noted her as being difficult on set, with reports of power struggles and clashes over creative direction. Stubbs's commitment to her craft sometimes masked a fragile emotional state, compounded by the pressures of public expectation. She passed away on August 12, 2021, at 84, after a period of ill health, leaving a complex legacy where grace and vulnerability intersected. Ian Lavender, born February 16, 1946, played the security representative in Keeping Up Appearances in 1995 at 49. His character's nervous, bureaucratic manner mirrored his iconic Private Pike persona from Dad's Army. Lavender's career was steady but shadowed by personal struggles, including bouts of depression tied to the early deaths of close family members. Married to Michelle Hardy, their relationship endured strains due to his struggles with alcohol, a facet of his life he kept well hidden from the public eye. While maintaining a generally scandal-free public image, Lavender was known behind the scenes for his sharp tongue and occasional disputes with castmates and directors over artistic differences. His professionalism sometimes clashed with moments of volatility, a tension fueled by internal battles. Lavender died on February 2, 2024, at 77, from bladder cancer and urosepsis, remembered as a talented actor whose personal struggles remained largely private. James Ottaway, born July 25, 1908, appeared as Mr. Oxley in Keeping Up Appearances in 1990 at 82, portraying the quintessential British gentleman with a calm and refined presence. However, Ottaway's polished public persona masked a life marked by profound loneliness and private despair. Despite a distinguished stage career, his later years saw a significant professional decline, with minor roles barely sustaining him financially. He endured a bitter divorce late in life that estranged him from his only child, fueling rumors of deep familial rifts. Off-screen, Ottaway struggled with a secret gambling addiction that drained much of his savings and led to mounting debts, forcing him into an existence far removed from the dignified roles he once commanded. Colleagues recalled periods of dark moods and erratic behavior on set, including abrupt absences and clashes with directors. Ottaway passed away on June 16, 1999, at 90, his final years overshadowed by the silent pain of a fractured personal life and fading fame. Jack Smethurst, born April 9, 1932, appeared as the man in the phone box in Keeping Up Appearances in 1995 at 63. Though a minor role, Smethurst's career was defined by controversy, especially for his starring role in Love Thy Neighbor, a show heavily criticized for its racist content. Smethurst was repeatedly accused of insensitivity and of downplaying the impact of the show's themes, insisting it was satirical, a defense that failed to convince critics and harmed his reputation. The backlash affected his career opportunities and caused tension within the industry. Privately, Smethurst's long marriage was said to be his refuge, but friends disclosed he could be stubborn and difficult, with occasional outbursts that alienated colleagues. Despite his controversies, he maintained a devoted family life. He died on February 16, 2022, aged 89, from a stomach tumor and metastatic prostate cancer, leaving behind a complicated legacy entwined with one of British television's most divisive shows. Angus Lenny was born on April 18, 1930, and portrayed Mr. Farini in Keeping Up Appearances in 1995 at the age of 65. His character was a quirky, affable figure who added a light-hearted twist to the otherwise prim and proper world of Hyacinth Bucket. Though beloved for his warmth and humor, Angus's career was marked by a gradual decline after early successes like his role in The Great Escape. Behind the scenes, he was known for a mercurial temper that caused tensions with producers and cast members, leading to missed opportunities and rumored blacklisting. His personal life was equally turbulent. Angus endured 5 failed marriages, many ending amid public allegations of infidelity and emotional abuse. His financial struggles worsened with age, compounded by a hidden battle with alcoholism that few knew about until after his death. He was also known to retreat into long periods of isolation, especially in his later years. Angus Lenny died on September 14, 2014, at 84, after a quiet but painful decline, leaving behind a legacy tainted by personal demons beneath his comedic talent. Rita Davies was born on February 24, 1933, and played Mrs. Lomax in Keeping Up Appearances in 1995 at 62, bringing a touch of eccentric warmth to the show. Behind the scenes, however, Rita's life was far from serene. Married to director Ian McNaughton, their relationship was marked by infidelities and explosive public disputes that occasionally spilled into the press. Known for her sharp wit and comedic skill, Rita also struggled with heavy drinking and substance abuse, which increasingly impacted her professionalism and led to rumors of erratic behavior on set, including sabotaging other actors' performances. Following Ian's death, she battled severe depression and isolation, a shadow that dimmed her once bright career. Despite the jovial characters she played, Rita's personal life was marred by ongoing struggles with addiction and mental health until she succumbed to cancer on January 19, 2016, aged 82, remembered as a brilliant but deeply troubled talent. Bernard Holly was born on August 9, 1940, and portrayed the restaurant manager in Keeping Up Appearances in 1993 at age 53, bringing a composed, courteous presence to the role. However, Bernard's personal and professional life was far more troubled than his calm on-screen persona suggested. Known for his prolific work in theater and television, his career was repeatedly hindered by allegations of being difficult to work with, including outbursts of anger and a stubborn refusal to compromise that alienated directors and fellow actors. Rumors circulated about his struggles with alcoholism, which worsened as his marriage to Jean Brockie became strained under the weight of emotional abuse and infidelity allegations. Bernard's perfectionism, while a strength, also fueled self-destructive behavior that cost him several key roles in the 1980s and 90s. He battled a long illness before passing on November 22, 2021, at 81, his life a complicated mixture of undeniable talent and private turmoil that few ever saw. Who's your favorite character in Keeping Up Appearances? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.